Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome today to World United Press. I'm your host, Elijah Dominguez, and today we are going to be talking about the recall and request for recall of bail and how to actually do that. Now, I've seen many videos and many people who have talked about recall of bail, and these individuals have given people pretty good information, but I'm going to show you today how to do it without an attorney. So I found this form. Personally, I'm in the state of California, so we're going to be using a CR 302. I had to come from Minnesota to do this because they decided to harass my business. That's the recall for warrant. Now, you would obviously fill out the recall for warrant. You'd add your when you do this, you would add your name, all your information here. Then you would either put where it says request call. You put all your information here, and then where it says request and order recall, you'd either put PRCS, which is obviously what we do if you're not on parole, and then you'd if you don't have that information, don't worry about it. Case number, you fill that out. Obviously, you haven't been sentenced, so you just put an A. Then you put the bail amount, specific bail amount. And then you would, obviously we wouldn't request supervision. We would go other in this case at the bottom there, where it says request for recall of warrant. We put other. And we would request that the bail be removed and that the bail be reimbursed. And we would ask also that the warrant have a collateral estoppel. See, you have to provide remedy once you provide liability. That's important to know and understand. If you don't do that and you don't provide no remedy, they're just going to deny. I was able to convince a judge because I provided a remedy. And I did this I also filed, obviously, my last video was talking about filing W-2s and the fiduciary forms. Obviously, you have a fiduciary if you already have filed this out. And if you haven't, I recommend you do. This is simply stating that any liabilities or tax concerns regarding your name, this is including court proceedings, will have to have your authorized signature. Your signature is your contract. That is your personal authorization. People don't realize this, that even when you do that, when you sign banks, then you can actually, in the next section, you can actually revoke prior given authority. Like, let's say they give it to an attorney, you can revoke that when it's filed. But if you don't have all the information and you don't fill it out properly, it's just going to get rejected and you're going to lose money. So I started doing research into the Treasury because I hear all these people talking about Treasury departments and the reissuing of a bond. Well, after doing research on a bid bond, which is the standard 24, 25, and I believe 26, I came across this form here because I was given a warrant by the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department and the City of Martinez, and they both were just abstract. So they weren't actually the warrant itself, it was just an abstract version of the warrant. But I filed give me a second here. Having some problems with my papers for a second. Give me a second. These papers just don't want to stay. So I found this. Reissuance of a bond. Take a good look at that there. And so I attached the face amount, I had the date it was issued, the bond on the number, because every bond has to have a number. They can't just not bond a $25,000 and have unsecured. You don't want to do that. But they're using deceptive business practices. Technically, they're using deceptive business practices under the FTC, but this is how you, another part of the reissuance of the bond. You see there it gets stamped and signatured by the representing officer, and it actually ends up going to the Federal Reserve Bank. Now the Federal Reserve Bank will have notice, and that becomes a real issue for the courts or whoever's trying to issue money in your name when you file these. Remember, everything has a FISA or a cusp number, and these are actually a way you can get in control of your bond. Now, you can get money. The Moores were right about that. You can get money from your bonds. You just can't ask for more than the bond is. That doesn't make any sense. And you can't issue your own. It's impossible. Unless you're the banking Federal Reserve. Now, this is a authorization transaction on my account. So, IRS keeps an individual master file. I would recommend looking up 6209 of the IRS. That's the individual master file. That's where you keep every single one of your documents of every single transaction that you have ever done. And you are actually paying taxes, obviously, to Britain. If you've been watching these feeds and this information. Now, this Treasury authorization account is a great form to have, because if you file this in your name, this document here, this document will show any transaction that's not in your name is fraudulent. The power of attorney, savings and notes bond. So this is a very important form. You want to file this with a notary, a banking notary, and you want to make sure that you have the stamp. You also, the banking, if you have an account with the bank, they'll do it for free usually. Sometimes, even if you don't have a bank account, they'll do it for free, depending on what you're trying to get stamped. Excuse me. It was a long night last night. But that's actually how you could recall the bail and actually get money for recalling your bail. Because remember, that money that was put in your name is a loan. That's a banking loan. That's money that's being taken out of your pocket. And this has been news reported by World United Press. Thank you for watching. I've been your host. Please continue, subscribe, watch, and share, and click that like button down there, please. But until next time, you have a wonderful day, and everybody take care in these current times.